All right, I'm going to be talking about culture and process. And a lot of organizations are surprised to see how difficult it is to go agile or to have a sustainable agile practice. And a lot of it is that their actual organization, IT organization, mirrors the waterfall process. And when they start to go through and taking a look at living the values and the culture of agile, that's where some of the changes really come in. So, how to go through and change that process. So, part of it is a confusion on the differences between waterfall and agile. And they don't really understand how big of a difference because they're looking at, hey, we're still doing analysis, we're still doing design, we're still doing development, still do tests, we still do deploys. How different could it be? Well, when you look at some of the major differences, one of them is time frame. So something that a good agile team can do in a day is might be something that took a waterfall team months or even a year to do. They're also about getting things done versus getting things started. So you see agile teams like to focus on getting one thing, maximize business value, get it out. But a lot of bigger teams, waterfall iterative, might have several things underway. So quite a bit of difference there. Engagement. The agile teams are about collaboration, getting people to work together, having conversations, where your typical waterfall is really looking at handoffs between sets of people and doing that with documents. So not nearly the amount of collaboration. Staffing and organizational structure is really quite different too. When you look at an agile team, everybody shows up on day one and they're there to the end. Where you look at your normal traditional approaches, people kind of come and go throughout the time frames. The other thing on staffing organization, we're organized to get throughput, to get things done all the way from beginning to end. And when you look at your traditional thing, they're looking at batch queuing processes into roles. So let's say your analysts or developers. Another one is, how do we measure progress? The agile teams look at if it's not working software, we don't get credit for anything being done. The traditional process, we're looking at percent complete on documents. And that's really quite a big difference. So the IDEO video really shows what we're talking about in terms of a picture of the culture. The whole team is there from day one to the end. In a short time frame, they're not taking on any other projects. They're focusing on getting that one single thing done in a fairly short time frame. They go through and work through different options and things like that to satisfy the business need. So you can see that there's some adaptability in what they're doing. Another thing is they are working together so that there is a focus on everybody has a perspective, an option to come out with the best outcome. So when we look at culture and change, we're looking at how do things change? And especially from the top, executives are thought of as change leaders. To paraphrase off of John Maxwell, maybe that's true if they think of the idea, but they're just as resistant to change if the idea doesn't come from them. And it's not just an executive thing versus follower thing. It's a people thing that unless we kind of think of the idea, we're resistant. So if we're looking at changing the whole culture and organization, the engagement and actions of the significant executive leaders have a big impact on that. So when you're looking at the video, think of how your organization actually works and what changes that you might have to put in place to get that level of collaboration and throughput.